So let me ask you this. When you guys get back doing the Mets games, now will you go down to Washington, or are you going to still do it from New York?
No, no one's allowed to travel again this year.
Okay.
Now, whether that is the entire season, I don't know. Obviously, it's subject to the pandemic and all that, what's been going on. But we'll be broadcasting from Citi Field, the road games, as well as the home games.
Oh, you couldn't get a setup in the house in Sag Harbor? Did you at least try?
No, they're going to set us up here in case someone gets sick, and then they can do it from home. But that's just a fail safe.
Keith,
Keith, how great would that be?
Milking this,
oh
man.
my
You got
God,
to just tell them, listen,
that would be awesome, just like Al Dukes.
you got to stay in that house somehow. You just tell them, listen, this commute's killing me. I need to be part of this broadcast. It's either I'm in Sag Harbor or there's no Gary, Keith, and Ron.
I wish I had that pull. If I was still hitting 300, maybe I could get away with it.
All right, so you see these numbers, this Lindor contract. What pops into your mind?
Well, we have new ownership. We all know. I thought they had a fantastic offseason. I can't remember a greater offseason in memory as far as acquiring new players. I think that it was a perfect storm for the Mets in a very tragic way, that you had the 60-game schedule last year. A lot of teams, I think, lost money. We didn't want to dip into their pockets, the ownership, and we have a new owner with is excited about bringing the championship back and has the funds and was able to take advantage of it. I mean, who in their right mind would trade a marquee player, a foundational player like Lindor, and a shortstop for that matter, unless it was financial? And that's kind of sad, but for Met fans, they were able to take advantage of it. Lindor, I think, played in spring training, played his contract, made it happen. Obviously he got red hot. He was swinging the bat, but he was playing good defense, playing with energy. I mean, it's spring training, and I was a little bit stunned at his, his zip and his step. He was just so involved in the field. And usually in spring training, it's hot. You're playing yourself into shape. I know these guys are in great shape, but why expend energy? A lot of extra energy in spring training when you got to conserve it and build up your stamina and then turn it on when the season starts. But he was so involved, and I was very impressed by that. And the fact with his offense, I think they had no choice. He just played himself in so many ways into this big contract.
Mets legend and broadcaster Keith Hernandez joining us this morning. Interesting. Pete Alonso said pay him $400 million because Pete, now watching him up close and personal, said, look, I knew how good he was. I just didn't realize truly how great he is. And I think it sounds like you're saying the same thing. So you saw him up close and personal. What makes a player like him so valuable to a team, and why is he worth $341 million?
Well, I don't. Is anybody worth $341 million? I don't know. That's a tough question. But nevertheless, it's what the market will bear. So I guess he is. He's got a body of work. It's not like he's someone that's had one or two good years. He's been 6 years in the big leagues. He's a two-time Gold Glover, All-Star. He's got the numbers offensively. So you can look at him and go, okay, this is what we can expect and from him. And but just the fact that he comes with the reputation of being good in the clubhouse, up kind of personality, which you need. I think you need more so today. I mean, so many players today are so laid back. I think it's good to have an energizer in the clubhouse, and he certainly is that. Now, I have not been in the clubhouse. We are not allowed any personal face-to-face contact. We come to the ballpark where we go right to the booth, we do the game, we leave. We're not allowed to leave the booth, and that's the way it'll be when the season starts. We have our designated area. We're not allowed to wander. So I haven't.
What about the bathroom?
Oh, well, the bathroom's up there, of course.
Okay, I was going to say, you're not allowed to leave the booth.
I got to figure you got to go quite a bit during the game, right?
3 buckets or something up there. Jeez.
Oh, the bathroom's not nearby either. We got to sprint at Citi Field for the bathroom. Anyway, it's a problem. It's a problem when you don't have 3 in the booth.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. You know, like if I'm late, Gary's got to do it all by himself till I come back.
Right, I know it's tough. It's very difficult on Gary.
It is, yeah, very difficult. Hey, and Gary can talk for endlessly, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you, what are you worried about in terms of the Mets as we get ready to start? I know we got a great lineup.
Extra inning games is what he's worried about.
No, he's not. But I'm literally, what concerns you most about the New York Met roster right now?
I think defense is a little shaky, but this has been a team that's never been good defensively. Certainly, Lindor adds a quality Gold Glove shortstop. The old adage, you got to be strong up the middle to win. I agree with that. You've got the catcher back there now. We got from the White Sox, McCann, that he can throw and he gets rid of the ball quick and he's accurate. And I think that's a big plus, because our pitchers can't hold runners on very well, and other teams have taken advantage of them. And I think the big spot that sticks out, the big sore thumb, is Dom Smith in left field, and it's not his fault. He's playing out of position, and I give him credit for not letting it affect. He's a young guy. He had a breakout year last year. A lot of young kids, you know, you put you out in a position you're unfamiliar with, it can affect your offense. Well, it didn't with Dom, and I give him credit. But he is definitely going to be a liability out there in left. He's not going to cover a lot of ground, and I'm going to see a lot of we're going to see a lot of late inning defense replacement. But what are you going to do? You can move in a tight game. You're going to take Pete out of the game because you get a better defensive first baseman, and you put someone out in center field, move Nimmo to left. I hate to lose one of those 2 bats late in a close game because they could tie it up, and then you're out. You're without one of your big bats in the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see how Louis decides to manage this year. But those are problems that are nice to have, I guess. There's a lot of depth on this team. I worry about injury. I always worry about injury, Boomer. And football was even worse than us. But you can't predict injury, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. Everybody's worried about the bullpen. I'm not so worried about the bullpen.
You know, I was surprised you didn't say anything about the manager, Luis Rojas. I was a little surprised that they brought him back. I know the situation in which he was hired last year. It was a pandemic season. We really didn't get to see truly, how involved he is in all the decision-making. But, this is obviously a huge year for him, especially with the expectations and adding Lindor and Trevor May and McCann and everybody else. I mean, this is going to be a huge year for this manager.
It's going to be a huge year for the players, too. The players, they put all the pieces out there, but the players got to perform. So that's the bottom line. On paper, it doesn't mean anything. So they've got to go out there and play up their potential. If they play up to their potential, this team will win. Like I said, I like all the moves. There's a little bit. I hate the word pressure, but it's not a word in my vocabulary. But it's just there's expectations of this team, and remember, this team finished tied for last place last year. It's not like a team that won 95 games and we finished in second place. We didn't get there. Now this is the year we're going to go. So they're starting from the bottom up. And of course, there's a lot of great new additions to this team, which totally changes the whole equation. This team has got a lot of talent. And like I said, I'm really optimistic about this season.
So Steve Cohen took Francisco Lindor out to dinner to talk about the contract. Apparently worked because they got the deal done before the deadline. If you had to take Francisco Lindor out to dinner in Sag Harbor to close the deal, would you take him to Tutto Il Giorno or somewhere else?
Oh, I'd take him to the American Hotel.
Okay. All right. I thought you might go there, Keith. I thought you might go there.
Well, you got to remember that the American Hotel's been around as long as Keith has been around.
Yeah, that is
That's a little bit of an Americana, and I've seen you in there too, Boomer.
Yeah, I've been in there a few times, without question. Yes.
Yeah, I want to have a drink with you two guys in that place at some point this summer.
Love it.
That's like the bucket list type of thing. All right, this starting rotation. Obviously, Jacob deGrom could win another Cy Young. He's that good. He's amazing. The Carrasco injury hurts, but the totality of the starting rotation heading into this season, does that give you any sort of anxiety as a Mets observer and fan?
Well, there's a lot of the only guy with a body of work, even DeGrom right now. DeGrom has the kind of spring training he's having in the years he's had in the past, and he doesn't have to be a Cy Young. And I think with this offense, they'll score him runs. He just can't go on like this, where he goes out there and he's like the Gaylord Perry of the San Francisco Giants. When I was a kid, it would lose 2-1, 1-0, 3-2. It just can't go on like that. So I think that if he wins 18, it's hard to win 20 games in today's game for the starters, but then that kind of puts him in Tom Seaver category. So this is a big year for him, where I think it makes him ultra elite, which he's a guy that's already won 2 Cy Youngs. So the other guys, Stroman, he knows how to pitch. I like what I saw from him this spring. He's got a body of work. The other two in the back end of the rotation, I like Peterson. I think he's a lot like Tommy John, but he's young. You don't know what you're going to get from him. He came up late last year. He pitched very well. Had a so-so spring. And I really like Lucchesi. I always thought Lucchesi was a sleeper. I liked him with the Padres. I think the Mets were very fortunate and very savvy to pick him up. And it looks like he's going to be in there. And he had a good spring. He needs to keep the ball down. He's got that funky motion where you can't pick him up. And if you watched all spring, he got a lot of hitters on inside fastballs when he kept it at the knees. And he locked them up because he's hard to pick up. He's not a terribly hard thrower, but his issue has always been command. But I think that he's a big sleeper, and he's going to get an opportunity. But every team has their warts in their roster, and Atlanta's got the same issue on the back end of their rotation, where they've got Ian Anderson, and I can't think of the other guys' names right now, but they don't have a body of work. You don't know what you're going to get from them. Max Fried is a very good pitcher, but can he do it again? So there's a lot of question marks going in, and that's why they play the games.
So will you, when you're watching the game tonight, put the TV volume down and then put on Howie Rose and Wayne Randazzo?
What a question, of course.
Okay, good. Just make it sure.
If I can't get, sometimes out here I can't get the radio station, I can't get the signal, I'll mute it. I don't need to hear it.
Okay, all right, very good.
Just go on Odyssey.com. What about Odyssey app?
I'll keep score of the game, too, with my markers.
All right, beautiful. Keith, great to talk to you. Happy opening day. We'll talk to you soon.
Boomer, are you coming out this?
Yeah, I'll be out that way this summer. No worries.
All right. If you don't flag me down, I'm going to be very upset with you.
No, listen, you're buying, and I'll see you at the American Hotel.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.